This is the Zapata Brand Podcast, Quick Hits Edition, with George Zapata, with Coach Diz, and Jersey Jay-Z.
Hey guys. Welcome to the Zapata Brand Podcast. And of course, you know Coach Diz and Jersey Jay-Z. Jersey Jay-Z sporting the Stormtrooper helmet and the championship belt, which he claims he's won numerous times in his lifetime. This is exactly what you get from a This is exactly what you get from a 50-year-old man who, Jesus, had a lot of time on his hands. Okay. Jersey, Coach, I have to address something that happened last couple days. We were in contact with Greg and Greg and Lee and Jimmy were with Jersey Jay-Z in New Jersey. Jersey was driving him around to his different appearances and what have you. During that conversation, something came up about tips and super chats and super thanks on the RX Muscle After Hour show. Okay. I subscribe to the show. I've watched it. I'm not as big of a fan as everybody is. I just don't have the time to do it, but I do subscribe. I do watch. I implore you guys to go subscribe to RX Muscle After Hours, RX Muscle, and Dave Show. That is without saying. The question came up is I've donated a few $100s directed at Greg. Now, the one thing I did notice, and again, I don't know Dave personally. I don't know him. Only thing I've heard from him is he's an okay guy. I don't know. But he's running a business. I'm a capitalist just like him. So right out of the gate, I own my own business. I employ people. I get it. Here's what I will say. When I did donate the money, and I know, Jersey, you've donated money too. Coach Diz, you have yourself. Here's the thing. When you give a super chat or super thanks or something like that, usually the host will thank you. Because believe me, I can put up on the screen now, I've made 98 cents in this. 98 cents. Okay. And the YouTube studio in the back end that me and Dave and anyone who has a YouTube channel can look at, it'll tell you exactly how much money you make, exactly how much super chats, exactly who they come from. It gives you the whole breakdown. Okay. We were not mad at that. So let's get that completely out. We didn't call or talk to Greg about it, because when I talked to Jersey, I said, hey, I gave a super chat and I put it in for Greg. I said for Greg, because I assumed, and again, my fault. I don't know what their relationship is. I don't know their contract behind the scenes. I just assumed as talent, Coach Diz, you are, on-air talent. Coach Jersey Jay-Z, you are too, but you are guest relations too. Your travel, your all that stuff, that's taken care of by the show. Okay. Same with Coach Diz, taken care of by the show. Now, if they have a different setup, I don't know, so I can't say. What I do know is I didn't get a thank you, so I thought it was kind of funny. I don't care. It was no big deal to me. Jersey said the same thing, and the next thing you know, I put one in, and when last time I put in the $100, some people in the chat were saying, hey, Dave, you removed that quickly. Where's that money going? It kind of struck me as odd, and because he didn't say anything about it, and it was $100 the 3 times I did it. So, and I specifically put for Greg in there because I figured he'd get the money, the little extra, okay? So, evidently that happened. I don't know the situation, but it got spun that I was pissed, and so I don't care what their relationship was. The only thing I cared about was if I give money clearly to somebody, and I clearly give money to somebody, 100% there should be a breakdown, because I'm a labor guy. My employees that work for me should be paid. It would be like if you came on here or Jersey came on here, did the work they did, and they didn't get paid. We don't have a contract, but you guys all know that you guys will get paid if we make money. But that we also are taking that money and putting it towards charity, doing it to other different things, because that's what we do. It's just how we do. That's what's the part of the Zapata brand that people don't understand. So let me make it a clear statement from the Zapata Brand Podcast. We were not mad at Dave. We were not upset with it. Now, I jumped the gun. I will say that. I was in the chat and going back and forth with people. to be quite honest with you, some of the comments were friggin' hilarious that the people were saying were in there. It was pretty funny. His audience is very funny when they throw the comments out there. The Jimmy Cry towel. Here's some money for Greg for toilet paper. I mean, it was hilarious. Some of the stuff. So it was pretty funny. He has a great audience, but we were the only thing that I was upset about is that Dave questioned. Oh, I didn't know. You clearly know but whether it was insinuated that was for Greg or not, he can take his stance. I'll take my stance. I support Greg. I support Lee. I support Jimmy. Whatever the situation is, it has nothing to do with how I feel about Dave. Dave seems to be an honest guy, and he would pay them. I don't know. I do think Mr. G, I do think Armand and the other guy should be paid also if they're on it. That's just my opinion. I just think that they bring value to the program. As far as his sponsors, that's Dave's money. That's all Dave. That's what he has. That's his, and that's cool. That's awesome. But I do think he should pay his talent, whether it's $100 or something. Just give him something. I think that's it. And I think we're all in agreement that was the case. But then, I got to apologize to Dave because upon my research, Greg evidently is worth $10 million.
Greg Valentino, $10 million right there.
He's worth $10 million. Son of a bitch, Greg. You're worth $10 million. You owe me money. So and he still drives that two color car. Obviously, if he had that kind of money, he wouldn't be driving that car. So that's fake news right there. So either way, I didn't mean any dissension of them to start something up, to start everybody going. I will say their Greg's, Lee's, and Jimmy's fans have all jumped on the Zapata Brand podcast and have subscribed. They've all coming into the. But I'm not saying don't subscribe. I listen to the show. I don't listen to it as much as you guys do. I just don't have the time. But it is a good show. He has great content. Dave has great content. When you add Jimmy, Greg, and Lee, Armand, Mr. G, and the other guy to it, I don't know his name, and I apologize. That's there's value there. So I do think they should be given something, and then all of them. Mm-hmm. That's Dave. He owns the company or whatever he does. That's fine. That is fine, and I'm sure we all are agreement with that.
Really. Right. And continue to support the show. Yeah, just support their show. We have nothing bad and negative to say about them. That's their show. It's Dave's show. He owns it. I just thought that maybe they should have when we told them that we donate and nobody knew about it. I thought that was a little odd. Dave seems like an honest guy. He's a smart guy. Obviously, you cannot be in business as long as he has to not be smart. I jumped the gun. I got into the chat and started going back and forth with people, telling them Dave's a liar. That is my fault. That's on me. If he didn't know, if he did know, I don't know. That's to be determined. But there is money going in there. We know that. Whether it's for Greg's toilet paper or Jimmy's cry towel or whatever, which is hilarious. The reality is, it is his show. I just think the transparency should have been more clear. That's it. So and that's for Dave to handle with Greg and Lee and Jimmy. Yep. But still, much respect to them. They're all good people. They're good. They're good to us. We can't say that they're not. We want to cross our fans over to theirs and their fans over to ours, because we all are in that same masculine type of, bodybuilding, boxing, wrestling type of deal. Oh, not Coach Diz. He's out of the bodybuilding. He's been out for years, if you can see. But other than that, circle's a shape.
It's not a good one. Not a good one if you're thinking about it. But let's put that to rest. Hopefully me and Dave privately can talk. And I would definitely give him my side of the story, and he can give his side of the story, whatever one it is, and we can agree to disagree on some things. But ultimately, I don't want a division between us and Greg and Lee and Jimmy and his fans. Whatever, we don't want that.
No, and they will be on the show. Jimmy will be on.
Greg, Jimmy, Lee, and Greg will be on. I would like to do a background story of Jimmy. Backgrounds, because I've already did Greg's and then Lee's. Mesh it all together. Maybe we can get him here in studio. I know that they're going to the Arnold Classic, and which is coming up soon. Yep. So let's put that to rest. That's done here. Jersey, that's a hell of a belt you got there.
Thank you.
Is that legit $400 belt there?
Yeah, it is. It is a $400 belt. But I do got a quick story I got to tell you.
Oh, bring it on.
Quick story. So we had a little leak in our upstairs in our bathroom. So we got a contractor that came here that we knew was a friend and whatever. He came on and he went on our roof to fix it. Okay, because that's what he does and everything. The son of a bitch fell off our roof. my backyard, murder scene. Blood everywhere. Okay. Nico's calling the hospital, 911, running around screaming. Okay. So they came here.
How did he fall?
He was fucked up. Okay. Like I thought he was gonna be dead.
Wait. Fucked up meaning
like when he fell.
Oh, not on drugs. Okay. Or alcohol.
But
okay.
When he hit, so when we talked to the nurse, they got him to the hospital. We talked to the nurse. He went to Englewood Hospital. The nurse is like, well, he's got a broken rib, contusion of the head, multiple fractures, scratches, and bruises. So, I felt bad. So we're like, can we send him a fruit basket or something? The nurse is like, he can't eat. His jaw hit our railing. And when he fell. So, now I wanted to ask the nurse. I mean, I don't even know if he finished the job. I got tools on the roof.
Oh,
so I don't even know what happened.
Daisy, do yourself a favor. Don't you climb on the roof.
No.
Because I've seen
George, what happens with the insurance? Because I got the homeowner insurance involved, the police taking pictures.
So usually this is what happens. You get the insurance will tell you to get an estimate from somebody.
Yep.
Okay. So then you get that. Now in Pennsylvania,
we got all the paperwork. We got police paperwork. Everything's here.
So in Pennsylvania, not only do you have to have insurance on your home, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
And then he would have to carry insurance also.
Yeah.
Which I would imagine he does.
He's going on roofs, so he would have to.
Yeah, I would imagine he does.
Now, Jay-Z, you're known to pick people off the street.
Your name is Jersey Jay-Z for a reason.
Yeah, so
okay. He doesn't just stand out in line in Star Wars movies out for 4 hours with a championship belt and that stormtrooper hat. The stormtrooper hat. No, he's not playing with a full deck, if you know what I mean. So either way, that's what would happen. And the insurance company would obviously have to pay his medical. Yeah. I mean, I think his insurance would have to pick up his medical. He fell off the roof.
Yeah, I sent you the picture. You saw the bloody mess.
But hold on, how did people fall off the roof? You were a roofer, like.
I thought you're supposed to be like locked in.
You're supposed to be tied on, and it's pretty,
Because I know out in Pennsylvania, the coat goes around.
OSHA goes around, and they are checking. If you don't have that crap lined up, man, you're in for some fines.
I was cleaning my backyard, and thank God it was Halloween because the blood on the leaves was crazy. I was blood.
Jay-Z's making a joke out of a guy almost broke his neck off of the roof.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, that's not probably the smartest thing to do.
Well, I'm saying, like, hey, come on. But
listen.
How do you fall off a roof?
That is what is shocking to me. Look, in the bagel business, every now and then you'll cut your hand, you'll do whatever, but falling off a roof is.
Jay-Z, you fell off the back or to the front?
The back.
It's not that high either.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of falls that are 4 feet and under are the ones that the guys kill themselves.
Hey, I fell out of a tree.
Yeah, you did. Right on Berkeley Ave.
Yes.
Right on Berkeley Ave. Yeah.
I think we're playing Manhunt, right?
Manhunt.
You know what? I think you may have fell on your head because the shit that you come up with, Jay-Z. I mean, ever since he's been hanging out at the Comic-Cons.
Hey, but that's helping. It's helping.
Yeah, no, it's helping. It's helping us get good guests and good relationships here on the hence the guest relations portion of his title. So either way, Jay-Z, thank God that guy's okay. Have you checked in on him or?
Yeah. We talked to the nurse. He's gonna be okay. We're trying to figure out if anything we can do to help him or whatever, but we'll see.
Just make sure your deductibles paid up or your
everything's done. So
hey, does he want to come on a podcast to explain what happened? Jay-Z gives him his card. Hey, if you need to come on the podcast,
you want to tell your story?
Speaking of which, we have Kevin Hines. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. One of only 12.
When is that?
That is the Monday after Thanksgiving. He's scheduled to be on. I think everyone but 2 are paralyzed. So 98% die, 2% survive, and of those 2% that survive, 13, only 2 aren't paralyzed, and he's one of them.
Jesus.
I mean, the story I was reading.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy, and that's one I'm really looking forward to because he jumped off there and he said immediately when he let go, he's like, "Oh man, I want to live." Just the odds that happened, it's crazy. But today we had the mayor on. He was on the podcast, and it just went up. It premiered today. All was good there. Great guy, Coach. Coach Diz, you're lucky to have that guy as your mayor. He's a great guy. And he's gonna really make that town or that city. He's gonna put that city on the map. From what I think.
Yeah, and I like that he was talking about with the Yankees coming. Jay-Z, if you don't know it,
to Bowman Field, right down the block from you.
Literally right down the block.
My street's all blocked off when it happens. So they're playing Detroit Tigers. So I'm trying to sneak in or something, but
I don't know. We might be big enough about that time. I know what you're gonna say.
No sneaking in with you. we can see that a mile away. There is no sneaking in with Coach Diz.
We might be big enough then. They might invite us there. So
I don't think so. I don't. But please, if anyone's listening, please like, subscribe, share, give it to your friends, have them do that. Subscribe. It's free. And I think most people think subscription, you got to pay. No, it's not. It's free. We have exploded.
It's free and you can tip.
And you can tip. You can give the super thanks. The thing that started this whole stupid controversy was that super thanks.
No, I just had to throw that out there.
Oh God, it was. I was getting phone calls left and right and text messages. Jay-Z was. It was a catastrophe. But I think it was taking that. And again, I take blame for jumping in the chat, fighting with the fans and everybody. But it was. I think it was the context. They didn't see the inflection in my voice. I was not mad. I just said, listen, he should be paid for what he does. Whether it's $100 or $1,000, doesn't matter to me. It just, he brings value, but all of them bring value to that channel. That's all I was saying. And again, I think Dave's a good guy. I think he's an honest guy. I don't think he would do something like that. Who knows? I don't know him that well. From what I see, he owns a business. He's got to be smart. It's a very successful business. He has a lot of what do you call them, sponsors and what have you. So I think reality is, he's a smart guy. He would be dumb to let them, not take care of them. And that's the only reason why I said something. The only reason. So let's finally get that out of the way. Get out of the way.
Get the questions going.
We are here for the questions, and there's a multitude that have come in. Jersey handles that. He will go back to it in a second. Let me just put him up on the screen. Have at it.
All right. We got one from Mary G from Seaside Heights, New Jersey. She said, Zapata boys, love the boxing Q&A. I used to watch boxing with my father as a child, and all the fights used to go 15 rounds. How come boxing doesn't seem to go 15 rounds anymore? They go 12. Is it because of a pay-per-view time issue?
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach.
So I'm a fan of 15 rounds of fighting. But I think back in the 80s, there was Ray,
I think Boom Boom Mancini.
Boom Boom Mancini.
Yep.
And he really demolished this guy. And then,
4 days after the fight, the guy died. And I think that's when they cut the 15 rounds. If I'm not mistaken, George. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I also think too,
it's with the pay-per-views. That's just my opinion. I think there's a time you have to rent out the arena for. So as long as they get fined. So that's one of my reasons why I think the 15 rounds is no longer. But I like 15 rounds. So George, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have a different opinion of it. I think that the 15 round after Mancini knocked out Kim, and he had passed away a few days later, which really messed Boom Boom up a little bit, killing someone. But the problem is this: it's the multitude of punches they're taking to the head. The also important part you got to understand with that is they are dehydrating their body, which is another reason why they put the weigh-ins the night before as opposed to the morning of. When you dehydrate your body and you suck, and I can remember Gabriel has fought a guy on the Tyson undercard out in Vegas. I think it was Tyson Ruddock. Gabriel has fought a guy. And the night before, he was overweight, and what he did was he sucked in all that water. He sucked all that water weight off in sauna suits out in the sun. And what happens is there's only so much water your body can suck from its muscles, right? Then it starts to go to the fluid that is surrounding your brain. And all it takes is a little bit of a hit, tiny hit to just shift that a little bit. And there's no cushion. Okay? That's around that brain. That causes the brain damage and the hemorrhages that you see now. The fact that they don't control the weight cutting is also that's sort of it. They have to control the weight cutting because that's where a lot of the damage comes from the head. But ultimately, the 15-round fights, there's so much damage that happens in your body. In a 12-round fight, now you got 3 more rounds to go. Yeah, I think that's a little bit because you're tired, and now you're really taking punches. And you know when you're in there, and I'll speak from experience. After about the second or third round, you can take more punches because you're used to getting hit. So it's just like, it's not so bad. Well, if you take one right on the chin, right on the head that you don't realize, that affects you throughout. And that's those ones that start killing those cells off, and you just don't want that. 15 rounds are no good. 12 is good. 10 for a regular fight, 12 for a championship fight. But you wouldn't want 15 anymore.
And the boxers are conditioned; they can go 15 if they wanted to. Correct? Do you think the boxers?
I think they could go 15 or 20.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're in great shape, and like we went back to the question last week where you're holding and doing whatever that prolongs the fight more for that.
So you don't think anything has to do with any of the money with it? Pay-per-view at the arena, renting out the arena could get longer.
No, because I think it was the commission who jumped in. The commission jumped in and said, you can't do this. You can't be, because think about it. If they did that, it would be in their benefit. Here's why. They'd put less fights on. You won't have to pay as many people. Less fights, what are you paying another guy money? So it'd be less fights. So for them, I don't think the money thing has anything to do with it. No, not monetarily. I don't think. I think it was the commission who stepped in and said these fights got to go 12.
Okay. And that actually leads right into a perfect segue into our next question from Harry S. from Boonton, New Jersey. And he said, most sports evolve. And he goes, with recent injuries and CTE, do you ever foresee a future where pro boxers will wear headgear like amateurs?
No.
It won't happen. I don't think it would happen. Because if you see the Olympics, they took headgear away because they did a scientific research, and a lot of the concussions from CTE, when you get CTE and stuff like that with concussions, they get hit in the chin. So they say a lot of the concussions come from a clean shot to the chin more than, the head. And also too, if you're going to be a pro boxer, you're going to, with the headgear, if you're a slick boxer and a fast puncher, you have a bigger area to hit. So the point system, you can have a lot more points, and if you don't have a stronger punch, the boxer would win. So I think they took that. They wouldn't do that. What do you think, George?
No, they're not going to do that. Now, I'm coming at it from a different point of view. Number one, when you have headgear on, it's a false sense of security. Just like a football helmet, just like why leather helmets were thought. You don't see many people with CTE back in the day, right? Because they wouldn't lead with their heads in football. In boxing, if you have headgear on, you think, oh, it's not so bad. You could take that punch. There's a false sense of security. They will never put headgear back. The knockouts. The problem with the difference between UFC and boxing is the small gloves. One shot knocks you out, you're done. Bare knuckle fighting, one shot knocks you out, you're done. When you have 8 to 12 ounces of padding, a shot that maybe would have knocked you out if it wasn't, and it was just knuckles, won't knock you out. That's bad.
And you don't see a lot of that.
people get knocked out in sparring. There's not a lot of people that get knocked out in sparring.
Right. And if you get knocked out in sparring, you shouldn't be in the ring. Yeah. You shouldn't. I mean, why unless you're in there with a big puncher, occasionally, you get your breaks beat off.
But then that's on your coach's fault for putting you in there with someone like that.
I've seen some pros that are pretty good going neck and neck with other pros, and they're getting knocked out. But again, it's this false sense of security. It'll never evolve into that point. You can't. Number one, the money wouldn't be there. No one's going to want to see that. Number two, the risks. The risk getting in there. Once that headgear comes off and you're professional, you're not only you getting paid more money, you're getting paid more money, but you're putting your life on the line. And it's not immediate. It's down the road. Down the road, hey, listen, there's times I don't know how the hell I got home. I'm like, well, how did I get here? Now, is it a combination of being so tired and not knowing? But you forget shit. You just do. I could remember the big shots that I've gotten hit on. I'm sure Jay-Z still remembers that back fist. I mean, that put him on Queer Street. It's punches like that you don't forget. And those are the ones. And the other thing with boxing that's a little bit dangerous, that's different than UFC. UFC, you get knocked down or whatever. More likely it's over. Okay. Boxing, they stand you back up, and you could get a chance to go back in. I could still remember when Don Somerville hit me. You were in the corner. And remember, I left my body and I'm getting hit. I'm like, holy shit. And you come back to the corner and you're like, oh, that was a bad round. And I'm like, yeah, I know. You're like, all right, go ahead. Go for the next round. I remember. I literally left my body. And I was like, holy shit, that was bad. Cool, that was a bad round. Like, I know it was. And remember, Don Somerville was big. That was a big dude. I was 147. That guy was big. He was 175. Won the gloves 3 years in a row. He was tough. Did you beat him? Don?
Yeah.
Don was 175. What the hell's the matter with you? There's weight classes for a reason. I was 140, and I was only, 17, 18 years old? This guy was 20-some years old and won the gloves 3 years in a row. He got knocked out by Antonio Tarver in the Nationals that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good. He was real good. So yeah, I think
I don't think it would ever. It would be
no. That would be going backwards. That'd be going backwards if they put headgear back on. No,
the sport that, like I said last time, a couple shows ago, the sport is not looking so good right now. So that would be.
There's a couple things coming down. It's not looking good. Showtime's out of boxing. I mean, that really hurts. That really hurts. I know you were talking about Amazon picking up PBC. I don't know. I think they have to really go towards the streaming. But what I think they failed to do, and again, I'm trying to get Jim Lampley on. He is not. He had initially said we got to get Jim. Hey Jim. What I think they have to do is find a way to make backstories about these fighters, so that you have a vested interest in the fighters. Because
that's what the UFC does. It's so good.
I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They put the money back into the company. So that's a big problem. Like, you don't know what company is boxing. There really isn't a company. UFC is so successful because they put the money back into the business. They put the money back into the facilities that they do. Am I a fan of Dana White, the way he handles the fight? No, I'm not. But great businessman, smart businessman. And yes, sometimes they say the smartest businessmen are the most ruthless businessmen that make the most money. I'm not into it to make all this money. I like to see the fighters. And again, that real quickly, we'll go back to the Greg, Lee, and Jimmy thing. I want to see everybody make money. I don't care, so that's why I think a little bit too. I'm for the underdog. I'm from that one, because I'm in the boxing business. I know how these guys get treated. No money. Oh, shortchanging. There was a guy who's on a podcast, and I'll tell you guys off the air. Just recently was on a podcast. Okay. That when I say it, you'll know who it is, Coach. He was saying how he's going to change boxing, and the promoters are scumbags and all this other shit. He shorted me $300.
I know who it is.
You know exactly who it is. He shorted me $300. Here's a guy so the business is dirty.
And he's a big time boxer.
Big time boxer. And he just the week or the month prior to him doing that, he cashed a check for $4 million. I know that. And he's going around the circuit telling people all the stuff. He shorted me $300, so he ain't cleaning up boxing. Trust me. Trust me.
All right. Next question from John Jay from Bristol, PA. He said, "I believe steroids are in all sports, and it should be legal. In football, I can see it as very useful." He said, "But however, in boxing, I don't believe it would work. I think too much bulk would slow down your hand speed. What do you guys think?"
I think, like you said, I think everybody's on steroids. I think having muscles with too big of a muscle, the blood flowing through it. Allegedly. I'm sorry. Okay. Allegedly. Being too bulky, you're going to be slow. Then you got the blood going through your arms and stuff like that. Your arms are going to be heavy. The only thing it would do is when you recover the following couple days. So I don't think it would be good to be steroids on boxing. There's certain kinds, there's certain kinds.
This is where I'm going to go. Here's where I'll go with that. Okay, if you're taking Nanodrol, you're okay. It's not going to put the weight on. It's going to make your stamina better. If you're on SR 9009, you'll be able to cut weight. That's a SARM. It's not a steroid. If you're on MK2866, the same situation. You're building muscle. It's a SARM. You're not going to do that. If you're taking DECA, if you're taking D-ball, you're going to be huge. You're going to be slow. You're going to get knocked out. DECA is more for your recovery, torn muscles and whatever. If you're taking Anavar will cut you down, but Anavar will make you dry. You'll tear your muscles. If you're on Turinabol, that's a boxing. That is a boxing, UFC, MMA type of steroid. Makes you very violent, and it cuts you down, but it'll also tear your muscles quick. One of the other things that it's a misconception that steroids are just you're going to be huge. It's not. There's some out there that are going to make you cut weight. GW 4099. That is another SARM that'll make you lose weight. Those things. LGD 4033. That's a muscle building SARM.
But with that question, if they police it, then they'll be different.
Well, then that would be quantitative, not qualitative. Meaning you have an amount like caffeine. You can't have over I think it's 1,200 milligrams of caffeine or 800 milligrams of caffeine in a fight. People don't know you have 3-4 cups of coffee at Starbucks, you'll piss hot. Okay, because of the caffeine. So that's quantitative, not qualitative. Qualitative means if you have Turinabol in your body, no matter if it's a picogram or not, you're testing positive. That's it. So there's a difference there. I believe that there should be a piss test in the morning. That's it. Like, you can't be a gorilla. I mean, if you have 1,800 testosterone at 40 years old, come on. I mean, Bob Sapp, drinking shit. I mean, you give me a break. That's a different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. But I don't know if that affects you boxing wise. The ability to take a punch, ability to boxing uses steroids for recovery, especially the older people, because it's breaking down your body, and you're not used to getting hit like that. I could tell you now, when I was before I hurt my neck, I was training to get back into shape. Possible fight down in May. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't get out of bed for a little bit. I just couldn't get out of bed. I was so hurt. So if I was using steroids, that helps your recovery. Your muscles are back better. You're back in the gym 2 days later. I still haven't gone back to the gym because of my neck. Because the recovery is so long, and they're thinking of fighting in May. So
and a lot of it's muscle memory too.
Muscle memory. It just it takes a while to get that.
To build that.
I just don't think it would be such a difference because I think they're skating the system now. I think they really are. If you just have a piss test and you're not in USADA or VADA, they're not going to catch you. If you notice, the people who get caught are the ones on the lower level. They're not these high end guys. They're not getting caught because they have the money to do it. So the question saying, I think the question is different when they say you're going to be too big and bulky. I think he's misinformed, because steroids, the perception is you just get huge. And yes, there are people that are huge, but it takes so much blood, and that oxygen's got to pass through that muscle to get the blood flowing. It's so hard to do. You'll tire out very fast. Coach.
Yeah, that was like one of Dylan Dennis's main things that he was trying to bank on last week was, make Logan Paul, use his, stamina and all that because he's so big, but that didn't work. But
Didn't work.
What I was gonna say, George, it's different to that question, but in Vegas, I don't know if it's still going on. That's why Floyd always liked to fight in Vegas, is because he gets injections in the hands.
He does.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with any of those?
I to a point. I mean, it's his hands. Because you're kind of taking his livelihood away. I mean, Jeff Fennick had the same issue. It's why he fought in Vegas a lot. His hands were so jacked up. But he didn't use that stuff. He just,
But what are they injecting in the hands?
It's almost like a painkiller. I forget what it's called. Toradol. They use it in the NFL.
Yes, they do.
Using the NFL. And because his hands.
It's like an inflammation. It controls inflammation.
In a matter of fact, the only time Floyd was knocked down was because he punched someone. He went down because it hurt his hand. Remember, it was in Detroit, Michigan, Grand Rapids. It was Grand Rapids. That's where it was. It was his homecoming, and he hit the guy, and he went right down because his hand. I believe it's Toradol. I'm not 100%, but I think that's what I remember it being. It's like an inflammation thing. It controls it. It hurts.
So why does other states don't allow that?
Well, think about this. There's states that don't allow adrenaline 1,100. When we fought at Turning Stone Casino in New York, I knew that Chris would cut a lot, and immediately the commissioner said that adrenaline, you can't use that. I said, well, why not? He said it's illegal. Oh, excuse me, because it's a
illegal in Delaware
restrictor. What?
Was it illegal in Delaware?
I believe it's legal. I believe it's legal. Yeah, I think it's legal everywhere. Really, I think just on the reservation it's illegal. I have no idea why. So, yeah. So I mean, again, I think it's questions a little bit formed in a different way. I think he's coming from the bodybuilder perspective instead of the performance. Let's put it this way: performance enhancing drugs. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, and that would be different.
You don't want to be huge. You just don't want to be huge. No. That's bottom line. He asked the question of being big and huge. No, you don't want that.
The only reason why big and huge wouldn't work is it takes so much blood to bring that. The blood is going to bring that oxygen into your muscles, and they're so big, it's using so much, and you'll get that fatigue.
Yep. All right. We got our next question. Is a wrestling question. This one is from Pete in Milton, PA. And he said, what was your first WWF moment that made you enjoy wrestling? I'm going to answer that for myself first. My first WWF moment was in 1981-82. And I don't know, George, Dennis, you were too young, but George, you might have went. We went to when it was the Brendan Byrne Arena or maybe Continental Arena. And we saw Rick Martel and Tony Garea against Fujin Saito. There was salt thrown in the match in the eyes. And ever since that, I was just fascinated with wrestling. I mean, those were my favorite tag team, Tony Garea and Rick Martel. And I loved them. And we're big wrestling fans. We want to go back a long way. So what about you, George?
WWF. That was when it was good. It's a little bit. It was at a time where they made you believe it was a fight. Yeah. It was like real. Mm-hmm. I had all right. So I'll take that as a 2-part question. For me, the first time I ever remember, my first thought of saying, "Wow, that's really cool," was when Andre the Giant got attacked by Blackjack Mulligan. They put the claw on him. I remember they had blood and they put the X on the screen.
Yes.
I was like, wow, that is, and I hated Blackjack Mulligan from that point on. So it's like you were invested in that whole thing. I remember that. The Brendan Byrne Arena. No, I did not go to that show. I remember I was too young. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't let us go. So you were allowed to go. I wasn't. I think I did because they couldn't afford the ticket, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know what it was,
but I wasn't allowed to go. They said, "Oh, you got to be a certain age," and maybe it was. I don't know. But my Brendan Byrne Arena was always my favorite because if you remember, we would go before the wrestlers would show up, and this is when we thought they were all real. Until we saw the Honky Tonk Man in the car with Hillbilly Jim.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait a minute. Honky Tonk Man just went in with Hillbilly Jim.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I said, wait a minute, there's something funny going on here. And then Roddy Piper came out, yelled at us. George Wells was there. We got an autograph, and
Ricky Steamboat
held Coach Diz.
Now that's what I was gonna say. I was always a fan because you guys watched it and stuff, and I would watch. I was always trying to tag along. But once Ricky Steamboat put me on his shoulders and we took that picture, that's when I fell in love with him. God forbid, I don't think he can do it now, but
no.
But that was my moment. And also, I remember the one time we used to always go to the Brendan Byrne Arena in Meadowlands. I remember the one time George and I went with just us two in his Geo Metro.
Yeah. Yes.
And Route 17, it was like a hurricane. We went there. Yeah. There was no rain. We came out, and
literally it was up to our doors. And we're just driving.
And we were going. And I remember I said, oh, shit. When the lights, it went over the front of my hood, over the lights. Yeah. We couldn't see. The lights went out. That's when I knew we were in trouble. I said, oh, shit. This is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Holy cow. That was.
And I also remember a time where you took me and Monty to one, and Bob Backlund put the chicken wing on Monty.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was outside signing stuff.
He was signing autographs. He put Monty in a chicken wing. all 110 pounds of Monty getting put into a chicken wing by a NCAA wrestler. Yeah, that
was like the president, or he wore the tie.
Yeah, he was running for governor of Minnesota. Yeah, he was running for the governor of Minnesota around there. He was doing something. I think it was a governor or mayor or something, but I think it was governor, if I'm not mistaken, because he was coming after Jesse Ventura's seat or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Wrestling was, was ready with the blood and everything. Remember when Snuka got pile drive in the concrete?
Yep, Ray Stevens.
Ray Crippler Stevens.
Yep, and he was shaking. Remember, he was shaking.
Everything. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I would say two events that I went to with you guys that were just like top-notch best events. I believe the first event was when Andre ripped the chain off of Hogan out of Piper's Pit.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Good one.
We went with Buddy, and I think Buddy and Sean took us.
Buddy and Sean.
Yes, we were.
3, and I could and Eugene.
And Eugene was there too. Eugene was there too.
Eugene was there.
I think, was that the day that the M&Ms were on the back of your head?
No.
When the guys were screaming, spitting M&Ms. But anyway, and the other one was
when we went to ECW down the first time with Jimmy and them.
Lost Battalion Hall. Lost Battalion Hall right there in New York.
The atmosphere was crazy.
Do you remember the guy broke the crutch?
Yep, and
it came flying past us.
Right back at us. Yeah, I remember. And then the guy got hit with the VCR right in the front. Yeah, I remember that, and the piece went flying. That was probably one of the craziest shows I've ever been to.
Mick Foley was there.
It was his last match before he went to Mankind.
He came out and said hello to us.
Yep, I remember that. Yep, and in the back.
What year was that?
That was 95. 95. Because I was just about ready to leave. To come out to Berwick.
Yes,
I remember
95.
That was one of the last things I ever did. One of the last things I ever did. Actually, the last thing I ever did was sit front row with Coach. Remember? 1996, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. Oh no, Bret Hart, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels for the title or whatever. No.
And you were right there when they walked down and they were hit. Who was that? Was that Lisa? No.
Ahmed Johnson.
Yes.
Coach was like Ahmed Johnson, who, by the way, is probably one of the biggest men I've ever seen in my life. Comes down, and Coach. Coach said something to him. He turned around and looked at Coach. I never seen someone who lost his color so fast than Coach. That guy would have killed him. And his face when he looked at him like, oh boy, because that was when wrestling was getting goofy, the Attitude Era. Yeah. They would do a lot of crazy crap. So we were sitting front row, and I just happened to get those tickets because I went by myself. That's how much of a loser I was. I went to the arena by myself, and they gave tickets away. They were giving tickets away. Yeah, I was part of the WWF fan club, and they gave us tickets, and I got a free ticket.
You don't have a belt? You don't have a belt back there?
I don't have a belt. No, the only belt I got is that one right there, WBC belt. And he I was sitting at the thing, and they announced the tickets were on sale. I was a front row. SummerSlam '96. It was called Heart and Soul. Bret Hart against The Undertaker. And that's when I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin get dropped on his head. Remember when Owen Hart gave him the power driver drop on his head? And the guy who was the cameraman looked at me and he goes, "That's bad. That's really bad." I remember.
You
sitting right there.
You got the chair. You still have the chair.
I saw the chair at home. Yeah, that's how bad they were. They were giving away the chairs. We sat front row, right next to the ring, right where they would walk out.
Now, was that better than WrestleMania? I think you went to WrestleMania 10.
10.
Michaels
I went
versus
10.
WrestleMania.
I went there with my friend Mark and Dolores. They took us to Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 10.
The ladder match.
That was a ladder match, best match I've ever seen. And we were in the ESPN box because they didn't cover wrestling. And I believe somehow Mark's mom worked. Somehow there was some connection there where the guy just gave. And I was sitting next to the referee, Dick Kroll.
Oh, wow.
Right next to him. And I'm like, hey, what do you think of the Steiner brothers? Don't know him. Okay. What the hell are you doing here?
I still have, and I just pulled them out, vintage wrestling magazines.
Oh, look at those.
Okay. Now, I go through them, and half the people on there are all dead.
Yeah. Hey, if you real quickly, 1989, you have is that the wrestling review from Bill?
Yes, it is the year in review.
Yeah. Who was the wrestler of the year?
The wrestler of the year, I'll tell you right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you right. Remember these? Remember when they used to do these?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Wait, who's the wrestler of the year? Go back.
Wrestler of the year was
Ric Flair or Sting.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. Yeah, it'd have to be because we're at an 89. Hogan, they didn't really like much.
No, tag team of the year were the Brainbusters.
Oof, that was a terrible team.
Match of the year was Piper versus Savage.
Where was that?
I don't know.
Oh, that was the Piper Savage one. Look at that. Match of the year, Brainbusters. Look at that. Man, look at how seriously they took it.
Yeah, they really. But you go through here and you're like, wow, a lot of these people are dead.
That's actually a good condition, Jay-Z.
That's not a bad condition. Not bad condition.
No. But it's this one has Barry Windham on it.
Oh my gosh, I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember.
And then the back has the wrestling figures.
Oh, the wrestling figures. Holy shit.
Yeah. This one,
top
I got a bunch of them.
Top left Ultimate Warrior action figure, the only figure we never got.
That's true. The only figure
we
never
even got the Sergeant Slaughter one that you had to send away for G.I. Joe.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I actually was going to read you off a couple of the do you remember when they used to do like the tag teams and all that stuff here? Like,
you mind getting on the screen, Jay-Z?
Hold on.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
All right.
What do you got?
Here goes,
read off the top 10 wrestlers in 1989.
Top 10. It's 1989. WWF. Hulk Hogan was one champion.
Yeah.
Andre?
No, Ric
Ultimate
Flair.
Warrior was next.
Warrior was
Kurt,
next.
Yeah. Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
Bad News Brown.
That was Brown.
Dino Bravo.
Wow. Do you realize the only one alive is Hogan out of that? Hogan, everyone else is dead.
Well, wait till I go. Well, this list, the only one that's alive is Brutus Beefcake.
What? No. The list you just read.
The top five.
Yeah,
Hogan's the only one alive. Hogan.
Yeah.
Warrior's dead.
Yep. Ultimate Warrior.
He's dead.
Kurt Hennig.
Dead.
Bad News Brown.
Dead.
Dino Bravo.
Murdered.
Roddy Piper.
Dead.
Randy Savage.
Holy shit, dead.
Rick Rude.
Dead.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dead.
Jimmy Snuka.
Dead. He's also a murderer.
Yeah. Brutus Beefcake.
Wow. That is a horror. Oh, that's a morbid list. That's
What's the tag teams?
Tag teams. Number 1, Demolition.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that was good.
The Steiner Brothers.
Yeah.
The Road Warriors.
Dead.
Midnight Express.
One's dead.
Number 5 was Michael Hayes, Jimmy Garvin.
Nope, they're alive.
Skyscrapers were next.
Which one?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Mike Enos and Mike Bloom are next.
I think they're both alive.
Okay. The Bushwhackers.
One's dead.
Bobby Fulton and Jackie Fulton.
One's dead.
Yeah. Here's NWA. And they also have AWA. That's how old it is.
Holy cow.
Here's AWA, how bad it was.
Okay.
Champion is Larry Zbyszko. Nikita Koloff.
Okay.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Well, 3 for 3. They're alive.
Paul Diamond.
He's alive.
Johnny Stewart.
Oh,
Johnny Stewart. I don't know. Baron von Raschke.
Baron von Raschke, one of my favorite.
The Trooper.
That's Del Wilkes. He's dead. He was the Patriot.
Doug Summers.
He's dead.
The Russian Brute. Who's that? Who's the Russian?
I don't know. That could have been Nick Busick. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. What about NWA?
NWA champions Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Lex Luger.
Oh, he's hanging on.
The Great Muta. Muta.
He's good. I always like him.
Sting.
Yep.
Brian Pillman.
Dead.
Steve Williams. Dr. Death.
Dead.
Tom Zank.
Dead.
Sid Vicious.
Good.
Buzz Sawyer.
Dead.
Tommy Wildfire Rich. He's alive.
He's alive. He's alive.
And then Mike Rotundo.
He's alive. Yeah.
Impressive.
Wow. I can't believe you have those.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them.
That's nice.
Yeah, I even got some old boxing ones too. I got to send you.
Wow. The Ringside magazine?
Yeah, the Ringside and KO.
KO Mag.
KO magazine.
You get the centerfold in the middle.
Yeah.
The poster.
Yeah. I got one with Julio Cesar Chavez on it.
Oh, that's a good one.
George, I think you had that one too.
I probably had that one. Probably put it in a frame, put it up.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. I got to send you. I got to show you.
Yeah, send them.
Quick question. You guys see the Von Erich movie, the trailer?
The Iron Claw. Yeah, it looked good. It looked pretty good.
I didn't see the trailer. I know it was coming out. I heard it was coming out for a while, but
I didn't see the trailer. I heard my friends were telling me I worked.
Is it on Netflix or movies?
I think it's coming out in a movie theater.
Does anything ever come out in a movie theater anymore, or no?
I don't know. I think it's coming out.
Just Marvel movies.
Yeah, those are the only ones that come out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You guys, stupid movies.
Yeah.
See.
All right. Well, all right. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up here to go again. If you can, please, guys.
Wait. Wait. I gotta do my prediction for the UFC this weekend.
Okay, go ahead.
So wait, hold on for a second. Before we do that, if you guys are watching, like, subscribe to the podcast here. RX Muscle, like, subscribe to theirs too. Greg Valentino's, Lee Priest, and Jimmy the Bull. They all have YouTube channels. Like and subscribe to them. We do have some videos up for the footage that Jay-Z you took in Jersey. It's up, doing very well on our site there. Again, we really appreciate that. If you want to give us super thanks, super chats, or what have you, please do. It all goes back to the community. It's all donated charity stuff. So real quickly, Jay-Z, we're going to go right into UFC quick. Coach Diz, big weekend this weekend. Next weekend. Right?
No, this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah,
oh, that's right. We talked last week. Okay.
Yeah.
So give me your idea. What's going to happen? How's it going to go down this Saturday?
So I think first I'll do the co-main event, Usman versus Chimaev. I think that Chimaev is going to actually submit Usman. I just think he's going to out wrestle him and then take him to the ground and submit him. 3 rounds. And then I'll go with the main event. It's Islam Makhachev versus what's his name?
Volkanovski.
Yeah, Volk. Did I say Hazat Chimaev is going to win? Yes, I did.
Yes.
Hazat Chimaev is going to win by submission, and then I also have Islam is going to win in a unanimous decision. I think he's going to really beat up Alex this fight. I think it's going to be a
really
fight this time for him. Yes.
Huh.
I really think he's going to. Yep. I think he's going to take chances. I think Alex is going to take chances, and that's what he's going to get the mistake.
Okay, that's good. Well, on my end here, I'm going to do a pretty simple, straightforward. I think Usman loses. I do think he gets stopped, whether it's punches or just submitted, one or the other. He will. This will not go the distance. I don't think Jay-Z. I don't think Usman goes to. I don't think it goes the distance because I think it's just too short of a time period. I think Usman knows he's just got a short period to win, and I think that window closes very, very quickly with someone like Chimaev. Islam fight. I'm going to take Volk. I think Volk is just one of these guys. Is a tough guy. And again, guys, do not take my picks. Don't take them to the bank. They're usually not on. Volk is just a guy that I feel he can win this fight. I think he's determined. And I don't think Islam wanted that fight as much as Volk wanted the fight. Just my opinion. But we'll see. Usually I'm wrong, so pick the opposite because it won't happen. All right. Jersey Jay-Z.
Was there anything you were going to post up, George?
I don't have that here. It would not go up, but I will tell you. Big weekend this weekend, fantasy football. Jersey Jay-Z taking on Coach Diz. You guys want to put a little bit of a gamble on this here?
I will beat him this time by about 5 points.
I'm not saying that. I say put something on it.
All right. I'm going to put this belt right here.
Oh.
I'm going to put the championship belt right here.
And if Diz, Coach Diz, if you lose, you've got to wear the Stormtrooper hat.
There you go.
If Diz wins, he gets the belt.
He gets the belt.
Wow.
For the week.
That's it. For the week.
I get it for that. Yeah.
All right. And then, so the next podcast, you got to have the helmet on the entire podcast.
All right. I will.
Okay. That'll be good.
All right.
Let's wrap it up, guys. Again, guys, please like and subscribe if you like. Hey, in the comments, if you guys leave comments here, leave comments if there's any questions you want answered. Boxing, business, wrestling, UFC, we got you all covered. Again, Jersey Jay-Z out of Dumont, New Jersey. Coach Diz, Williamsport, PA. I'm George Zapata, Berwick, PA. Remember, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do yours. See you next week, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.